Time for a story, my loves. My House is Haunted, written by Melody Grace. Today, I woke up on an early Sunday morning in the springtime. It was just like any other day. The birds outside my window sang their sweet songs as the sun began to ascend, casting beautiful shadows as it went. I could smell the cherry blossoms as the breeze softly blew in through my open window. Downstairs, I could hear my mother humming sweetly in the kitchen as she prepared breakfast. The smell of bacon drifting in through my door. I reached up and rubbed the sleep from my eyes before hopping out of bed, pulling on an oversized sweatshirt and walking out the door. I bounded down the stairs, excited to fill my belly with whatever delicious meal my mother had prepared. As I rounded the corner to the kitchen, I found it empty. No sign of my mother or the delicious bacon I had smelled. Confused, I called out to her, "Mama, where'd you go?" No reply. I trotted back up the stairs and slowly cracked my parents' door open. It was empty. Panic began to rise in my gut. Where were they? I slumped out of the room and decided to check the garden. While pulling my shoes on, a thought briefly crossed my mind. What if they forgot me? I shook away my irrational fear and reached for the door, only to find it locked. I tugged on it hard to no avail. It wouldn't budge. Feeling defeated, I decided I would just call them. I picked up our home phone and began punching in their number. As I placed the receiver to my ear, I realized there was no dial tone. I checked the cord to see if it had come unplugged, but it hadn't. As I placed the phone back down, I heard my mother singing again. Excited, I ran to the kitchen. Standing next to the stove cooking breakfast was a woman. A woman who was not my mother. "Hey, who are you?" I shouted. The woman continued flipping pancakes, completely ignoring me. Frustrated, I walked over to the stove and picked up a glass sitting on the counter next to her. As I raised it up, the woman let out a shrill scream and ran out of the kitchen, leaving me standing there, glass still in hand with my mouth hanging open. What the hell was going on? I thought to myself. I quickly set it down and crept out of the kitchen in the direction the woman had run. As I reached the living room, I saw her sitting on the couch, sobbing, as a man I didn't know consoled her. I slowly approached them when the man stiffened and shouted at me to leave them alone. Terrified, I ran up the stairs into my bedroom and shut the door tight. I stayed there all day into the early evening, too terrified to leave, until around 6 p.m. when there was a knock at the front door. I quietly opened my bedroom and peered below. A woman in black was standing just outside the door. The man and woman invited her in, and she immediately looked right at me. I froze in shock as goosebumps began to rise all over my trembling body. Who are these people? The man and woman guided their guest over to the kitchen table, where she began speaking to them in low, hushed tones. I tried my best to hear what she was saying, but it all sounded so foggy, as if she were speaking through a tunnel. I decided to tiptoe down the stairs to get within a better earshot. As I made my way to the wall, separating myself from their view, I heard the woman call my name and ask me to join them. I shakily rounded the corner and froze. They were all sitting in a circle holding hands as the woman in black had her eyes shut tight. I felt dizzy. What was happening? Where were my parents? The woman spoke again. Emily, is that you? I tried to say something, but my voice was too shaky to speak. Emily, why are you here? Please, speak to us so I can help you move on. Move on? Move on from where? This is my house. I nervously walked over to the woman. Who are you guys? Why are you in my house? The woman stiffened. She says this is her home. She spoke out loud to the parent imposters as if they couldn't hear me. I could feel the anger rising up into my gut. This is my home, I began to shout. Emily dear, I'm going to need you to calm down. This is no longer your home, and you need to leave Mr. and Mrs. Swanson alone. Do you hear me, Emily? You need to leave and not return this time. The woman pointed to the door as she spoke. My world began to spin as my vision blurred, and then I remembered. I remembered that horrible Saturday night in the spring. It was dark out, and my father had come home drunk. I could smell the intoxication on his breath. I remember being terrified as he hit my mother for a reason I didn't understand. I had crawled under the table as he held her down, his hands around her neck. I remember her looking over at me with fear in her eyes as she tried to motion for me to hide. With tears in mine, I ran for my bedroom. Moments later, my father busted in with a shotgun.
Emily,
he slurred out.
Where are you, Em? I just want to talk.
I was in my closet when he shot me. I remember hearing the loud crack of his gun as I felt the sharp pain ripping through my abdomen. As I laid there, fading in and out of consciousness, I heard one last bang before closing my eyes forever. One last tear falling from my cheek. Today, I woke up on an early Sunday morning in the springtime. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Love, the Mistress.